Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, can we have the roll call, please?
Roberta Garlock. Here. Arthur Gilbert. Bridget Hosky is absent. Stephen Idarola. Stephen Johnstone is absent. Tony Mancini.
Here.
Leilani Perry. Here. Gail Tagliatella.
Here.
And Chairman Arthur Kelly.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, I'd like everybody, if they haven't had a chance, take a look at the meeting minutes from last week and get a motion to approve, unless there's any recommendations to change. Oh, please make sure your microphones are on. I would say just keep them on and talk into the mic. Are there any revisions? Can I get a motion to approve?
To make a motion, we accept the minutes.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mancini and a second by Vice Chair Perry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Any abstain? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Discussion and action, if necessary, on city clerk position being elected or appointed. Again, we went over this last week. The commission as a whole was not comfortable with moving forward. I put it on the agenda as an item just to see if there's any more discussion you want to have on it. I know Bridget's not here. She had some opinions. But I put it on just in case we wanted to discuss it more. As you all received, Gail sent out a AI evaluation with the pros and cons of elected versus appointed, which was very well and very informative. Gave opinions and input on both sides of the argument. So, does anybody want to discuss the position tonight?
If we didn't resolve it, I would assume that we would read it, go after it again and see what you want to do. You know?
Yes, we can, yeah. What was the motion last week?
It was
Change
we would not make it elected to be appointed. Or no, make it not meant to be
elected, but 4 years, I thought.
Yes.
Okay. All right. If we're not ready to discuss it right now, then that's fine.
If I'll make a motion that we make it an elected position.
For
City clerk.
For how long?
4 years.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to make the city clerk continue to be elected, but for 4 years instead of 2. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Commissioner Mancini, second. Discussion.
The way I thought it was going last time, didn't seem to have be receptive to the appointed. So I think we should leave it the way it is and extend it to 4 years.
Okay. Any
I'll
other?
say I voted no last week because I didn't want to make an uninformed decision. And after reading the what Gail sent out, which was very helpful. It kind of put me at where I am now.
Okay,
I just had one question.
yeah,
The city clerk is like real important to the mayor, though, correct?
correct.
So nobody would be in favor of having the mayor be able to appoint who he or she would want to do that job. If they're working that closely, it's almost like a president with a vice president or a governor with a lieutenant.
Well, I would think they would, the same person, they would ask the same person to run with them.
Okay, so they would have
Um,
power, okay.
The other side of the coin is, you know, there's no qualifications necessary. They could appoint anybody. And you get someone in there who doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't want to learn. So, I mean, there's, you know, there's both sides to that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Any abstains? No abstentions. Motion carries. So the commission will recommend in the report to the council that the city clerk continue to be elected for a 4-year term.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may I?
yes.
So I just want to report to the Charter Revision Commission on behalf of the council and Chairman Vargo. The council put a motion together to send some recommendations regarding potential actions that may follow with your votes last session, from changing treasurer and tax collector from elected to appointed. And if I could just read the letter into the
Sure.
record.
Yep.
At its April 13th, 2026 meeting, City Council received an update from Councilman Quagliani on the Charter Revision Commission progress. I understand that the commission voted to revise the charter to make the tax collector and treasurer positions appointed rather than elected. On behalf of the City Council, I respectfully request the following of the commission. Item 1, with regard to changing certain positions from elected to executive appointment, the City Council thanks the Commission for considering whether there should be language in the charter that mandates each change from an elected position to appointed position shall be confirmed by the City Council. Item 2, with regard to the treasurer, the City Council asks if the Commission will examine whether the treasurer has responsibilities shall be distinct from those of the Finance Department. If so, the City Council asks if the Commission will consider whether the charter shall specify by whom the duties are performed by public official, municipal employee, outside of the Finance Department, third party, external hire, or some other approach. I thank you and the Commission for considering these additional items. If the discussion on these requests would be helpful to you or the Commission, please let me know. Signed, Christopher E. Vargo Jr., Chairman, West Haven City Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we can get a copy of that to everyone. Thank you. All right, continuing on with discussion and action if necessary on suggestions and recommendations of the public regarding charter revision. As I sent out to everybody, the revised list for this meeting with the closed items and the open items. The closed items, as far as the council's letter, we can certainly revisit if we feel necessary. As far as the open items, we can take number 7 off the list for now. That was the clerk language. Next one is 8, language for council approval of contracts. Kevin, is there any progress on that as far as language in the charter or what may be necessary? Good evening. Okay. All right. Might as well stay up there because it's, we're gonna. Again, next one, 9, definition of the Board of Ed as a city department. Strengthen language, follow charter procedures. Also language for departments to consult personal legal counsel on labor contracts and collective bargaining agreements.
An approach is being drafted now that would make sure that it's overt and apparent that each and every department of the city is operating under the same guidelines and within the same constraints. Many of those involve listing your public contracts, having them stored on file with Mr. Lewis's office downstairs, city clerk, and also if we were to recommend to city council that they approve those contracts, and all the departments, including the board of ed, would have to do that as well. The language discussion that we had before was not specific to the board of ed, but rather it was to make sure that it was apparent in the charter that each and every department is operating under the same rules of engagement when they go to contract, when they seek RFP or RFQ for vendor proposals. So the language there comes with new verbiage, but also slight reorganization, and I think you saw some of that in your second meeting, where we are going to move the definitions section to the top of the charter such that we can use one time to define all the things, including departments, including contract, that will be applicable all through the charter.
Okay. Thank you. Number 10, same again. That could the voting machine language. Obviously, it's not doesn't take much of a revision, but
No, that's really just ministerial. You just have to change the language in there, and the language recommendation will just be the mirror state statute.
okay. I'm going to go back to number 6 at some point. I missed it, but as far as revising the voting machine language, I'd like to get a motion on that for recommendation to the council. In the charter, it says all voting has to be done by voting machines. With technology, that's not the case anymore. So we just want to clean up the language.
The conversation that you all had was not tying it to any one specific technology, but allowing it to track and mirror state statute, which is silent as to specific technologies. So if and when the state decides to go back to carrier pigeon for voting, you'll automatically go out to that.
So, yeah,
Does the state supersede local elections at all in any way?
In many ways, yes.
Okay.
In this case, you could be more specific, but there's little reason to do so with the specificity around the technology that would be.
So should we refer to the state statute in regards to? Yeah, okay. All right, so,
I move that our voting reflects the state standard.
That's fine, as prescribed by state statute.
yes,
Second.
okay. We have a second by Commissioner Garlock. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? None. Any abstentions? None. Motion passes. Thank you. I forgot item number 6, revised special election provisions for mayoral vacancy. I know there's something in the charter now that the council appoints a mayor or the person to sit in that position, and there's been some discussions as to whether we get more specific as far as time frame of when the vacancy occurs and stuff. I'd like to discuss that a little. And Chairman Quagliani, I think you have some information on that too, or opinions on what you think would be helpful. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I think you could refer to my public comments regarding it. I think the issue not the issue. I think the current language now says that the council chairman would take over unless the council chair is unable to serve. Then the council votes amongst the council people who would fill out the remainder of the mayor's term. I mean, obviously that was predicated on a 2-year term, and if the recommendation is that it's going to be a 4-year term, I guess the open question is do you want the same language to apply where if a mayor should leave within the first few months of their first year, would you like a member of the council to serve in that capacity for 3+ years without being elected by the electorate, or do you want to keep the language the way it is?
Okay. Kevin?
So this consideration should be the same whether it's 2 years or 4 years for that matter. Typically what would happen is there will be a set timeline by which there will be a special election for new mayor. The mayor's seat is vacated currently. The chairman of city council will act in that stead. You would want that to be for a limited time frame while a special election is pulled together. You can prescribe exactly how, you can prescribe in the charter when that should take place, but particularly if you're going from a 2-year term to a 4-year term for the executive, you probably don't want one person to be elected and then serve 60 days and then decide that she or he wants to do something else or can't, for one reason or another, fulfill that term, and now you have the chair of the council acting as mayor. The reason that the chair of the council is acting as mayor in that case is because it's important that at some point it is an elected official. So now, with the language reflecting it, when people elect to city council, you understand that one of those people as chair will be the person in the line of succession that would have to serve in that role. And that's a consideration that the electors should take when they go to the ballot. And you want to maintain that at some point. That being said, there's only so far down the line you can go. The charter could prescribe that it goes eventually all the way to the city dog catcher. City dog catcher could be second in line if that's what you recommended and that's what was decided. You want to think about not only how it applies now, but how it would apply in the future, and whether or not 2 or 4 years is adopted for the executive. It's still a consideration that you want to have some type of succession plan. Typically, municipalities will go to special election after a certain time.
Thank you. So I'm going to keep that item open for more discussion as we go forward. Let's see, while you're standing up there, and let me check. As far as removing, modernize and revise the public health department for regionalization, you're going to suggest some language.
There's nothing in the charter that bars the city of West Haven from engaging regional health. There is some friction between modern state statute and what is outmoded charter language. The language now in the charter says that the mayor shall appoint a representative from West Haven to that regional board. State statute says that the mayor, with input from the elected body, city council, will do so. So I would recommend, and I think Attorney Mednick agrees, that we just mirror the state language. There's nothing that needs changing in your charter to allow for that. But if you're engaging in your neighbor cities in regional health, you would want to make sure that there's nothing much different in your charter than what they have in their enabling language, so that forming that body and operating that body can be done consistently.
Thank you. And I know you're working on removing mandated departments, positions that no longer are required.
Yes, that's an ongoing project. We've got good feedback, robust feedback from all departments.
Okay.
Speak to some of that before we leave here this evening. When that gets finalized, you
Okay. Has there been any progress on the village improvement language?
I'm still researching the village improvement and working with the library
Yes.
to see what exactly enables them to operate the way they have, so that we can address it if we, in this room, decide that that's something that we want to propose. There is some draft language, but it's only living on my desktop right now, so it hasn't been shared.
Okay. Thank you. Chris Fargo, I believe, has asked about clearing up acting council chair language for meetings. I don't remember what that language is now. Yeah.
So in the charter, if the chair is not available, some other councilman or councilwoman is selected to chair. I think, no, it's the opposite way. Right, I think they want, Chris was looking to make sure that it states if the chair is not available, the majority leader will run the meeting.
Okay. All right.
That's a one-line fix. So
Yep. Mayor, you, I believe, do you have an updated list of recommendations from departments? No, it was not passed out. So item 11 is going to be considered under this item 17 for now.
Two-sided.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So all right. Go ahead, Mr. Spry.
So, Mayor Bohr asked all our department heads for their input on charter revision, what they would like to see change in the charters that pertains to their department. We received a good amount of feedback from each department. This is kind of the pared down version. Mayor made some notes, so you can see in yellow. But if you read through, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Well, let's just quickly go through Board of Assessment Appeals. Revise a charter to provide a member shall be appointed cannot be done. That's correct? Okay.
You would maintain the same status as it is now? Yes. Okay.
The building department, already existing code and is enabling amount per statute. So that's final. And they're just, Attorney Mednick and Cassini are looking at the floodplain development. Okay. Elderly services.
Yeah, the adult daycare centers,
Okay.
We want to revisit the title of the Department of Elderly Services. There's a feeling by the department that has a negative connotation, elderly services. We really need a little more time to kind of come up with the appropriate title for that.
Okay. All right.
In the Department of Elderly Services, before they presented the 2004 collective bargaining agreements.
May I ask a quick question about the name of the Department of Elderly Services? Do we have any research on what other towns refer to this particular department as? Maybe we'd want to align with others.
I don't with me right now. Is that?
It's mixed? Mm.
Mayor, it doesn't get recorded if you're not at the microphone.
So they range from Department of Aging to elderly services to things. So we just kind of want to. It's a mix of. We want to make sure that everyone in the city is comfortable with where we land on the name for the department.
Okay. Health Department, we know about the regionalization. Human Resources,
This is a strange issue in the city. Human resources is what it's called in the charter, but it's really health and human services.
so that's more or less a language change.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we would also remove the child and adult daycare from that department because it don't exist.
Yep.
And then add that this position oversees community development as well.
Okay. Land use, community planning and development. You're looking at changing titles.
Not so much changing titles, but also changing reporting structures as well. So in the charter it says that this commissioner oversees planning and zoning, building department, grants, and community development, and inland wetlands. Currently, we have a grants manager who oversees grant writing and management of grants, who reports into the mayor. We have a building official who oversees the building department, who also reports to the mayor. Our community development program and their employees report into the Commissioner of Human Resources, which we'd like to rename the Commissioner of Health and Human Services. And this section should add that the economic development personnel report into community planning and development.
So we're going to have to see whether these are something that should be done in the charter or whether it can be done organizationally.
The charter right now states that that's the reporting structure in the charter.
Okay. So we'd be looking to change that language. All right, we'll keep it open. Registrar's office, nothing there for us. Tax department, sewer billing.
So right now, we'd like to replace the language that says it's in 2 fixed installments with the schedule for payments is set yearly by the city council during the budget process. So it aligns with our real estate taxes as well. This gives us the ability to move between 2 and, as we did this past year, quarterly payments. And we just like the sewer tax to be allowed to be paid for that as well.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a question I had mentioned to the mayor a while back, but if you're going to make that change in that charter about the payment systems, what I consider is outdated and old is if any tax payment is under, I think it's $50, has to be paid in 2 installments. I think there has to be a higher number because that was years ago and a different time. And I think it should be like added in there somehow if they want to do it in the charter and get it over with. Is maybe put over $300. If it's over $300, it's in 2 installments, something like that. Just something to throw around that can be done with.
Okay. And you're gonna check on the alignment with state statute on the real estate and the MVA tax payments? WPCA, charter should clarify the water pollution superintendent should report to the public works commissioner, not the engineer. It is conflicting. So, again, just language revision. Okay. We'll take all these under advisement. Mayor, has there been any, I'm going to ask you to step up. Has there been any progress on the modernization of civil preparedness for emergency management?
There's a, oh, there it goes. Oh, okay. So he gave us a lot of information, and all really good information that we haven't had any guidelines on in the past, but we want to cull through it and just have the highlights, the high level in the charter, and the rest be by ordinance. So
Okay.
Kevin is actually currently going through that, and he's going to narrow it all down.
Thank you.
Yep. And then I just want to follow up on the tax thing because you said, well, you asked if we needed to check state statute on the tax payments. What we're asking is that the methodology and occurrence of tax payments are, another word for flexible, but in compliance with state statute. So we don't have to check state statute. We just want to say it's in compliance with state statute.
Okay.
This way, if state statute changes, we, automatically change. We don't have to do an ordinance. So as Rick said, normally it's 2 payments. Last year, because of revow, we did 4. This year, we have to go back to 2 because of the mortgage company. We don't want to keep coming back for it to council.
Okay, so, review Board of Assessment, Building Department, Elderly Service recommendations, those are all part of this. We'll keep open. Kevin, I assume you looked at Attorney Mednick's drafters charter organization?
I did, yes.
Any comments on it?
Many. Some of it I think will be necessary, but also swallowed into some of the things that we do as far as language cleanup.
Okay.
Other stuff may not be as necessary as some, and as you know, we're dealing with a short time frame, so we're attempting to be as selective as possible in what we recommend to the city council that they look at. Again, that process is still ongoing, but what I'd like to do is refocus everybody on the substantive work that's necessary rather than just reorganization, unless the reorganization, or lack thereof, ends up undermining the actual structuring and restructuring of things.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have for my list. Does anybody have any other discussions or comments on any items as far as recommendations, suggestions, language?
I've got another packet to hand out regarding the fire departments this time.
Yes.
I'll give you a moment to flip through. What you see highlighted in gray on the front page are the additions or corrections. The remainder of it is what exists now.
Since this deals with the first section 2 deals with the Board of Fire Commissioners, Allentown Commissioner Brown brought up at the first public hearing about the definition of the alternate members or defining their responsibilities. Is that something you think needs to be done in the charter, or is that something organizationally they can do?
Well, I believe it should be done, but doesn't need to be done in the charter. I think Attorney Dorsey, my predecessor, had as a legal memo that he recommended to the Fire Commission and to the City Council, and I'm happy to surface that and provide that to you. Of course, the application is not just only to fire commissioners, it's to members and alternate members of boards across all boards and all councils and commissions.
Thank you.
Sure.
May I ask counsel
Yes,
a
go ahead.
question? So I just want to make sure I understand what I'm looking at.
Sure.
So it's the first page is essentially a summary of what your and the grade text is what you're saying should be amended.
Yeah, some of those are amendments and some of those are additions. If this was printed in color, you would have seen that those grade texts were yellow.
Okay.
And so what you see in yellow are things that would be included. What you see on the remaining pages is the status of Chapter 106, the fire department chapter in the charter right now.
Okay. Thank you.
So the lines that are colored
Yes.
are not in the charter as of now.
I'll direct you specifically, if you look under Section 3, Fire Chief. Appointment by the Board of Fire Commissioners, and then under gray, which would have been yellow in color, with the approval of the mayor.
Right.
I just want to set the stage a little bit because that's a lot of information. So for those of you who don't know or are new, so we had 3 fire districts. The Allentown Fire District came under the city. At that time, there was no Allentown Fire District identified in the charter. So there was a resolution created. So that back page, that's the resolution that was created at the time that the Allentown Fire Department came under the city. So what we're simply trying to do, this doesn't impact the other districts, is take that resolution and incorporate it into the charter. So to take that and make it a part of our charter. But additionally, what I would like you to consider is what role the mayor plays. So right now, when it was established by resolution, the commission, which the mayor appoints, right, is responsible for hiring, discipline, and terminations. So in effect, the Allentown Fire Department is now department of the city, right? So I do their budget, we do their purchasing. If there's a legal issue, that's our responsibility together. We do all management aspects except for I don't manage the fire chief. So there is, and let me preface this by saying I work very well with this commission and the fire chief, but I could see that going south, right? I can see if a commission appoints a fire chief, and even though, in all other aspects, you manage this department, but the fire chief turns around and says, well, I don't report to you, right? I don't have to do that. So the mayor has no role in the supervision directly of the fire chief. And again, we all work together, but if that's not spelled out, I don't know. I work well with them. They work okay. But, when I first got here, it was a little, we worked through it. It was, we had to iron out a few, what my role is, what everybody's role is. We worked it out. And, I have this sometimes with other commissions. So we have a personnel department that is very versed on labor law, right? That's what they do. And we have a legal department that engages with labor attorneys when there's a labor issue. There's very specific ways you hire. There's very specific ways you discipline. And there's very specific ways you terminate an employee, especially when it's a union employee. And we have to make sure that those who are versed in that practice are involved in the process. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want any commission to take matters into their own hand without knowing what steps are legally required by the union, and what steps could land us in an expensive lawsuit.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
Let me add some dry legalese to this. From a practical standpoint, if one of the firefighters should fall off of a ladder, then that's a workers' comp claim, and that could be a lawsuit, and that will come to my desk, right? When this fire district joined the city, it wasn't the commissioners that voted to do so, it was the taxed residents of the fire district that chose to join the city. So when they chose to join the city, it's choosing the city to have oversight. The city right now owns the liability, but doesn't have a lot of risk management control where the liability could come to play. I'm not suggesting that anybody in City Hall could help them train to go into fires more safely, but there are other ways that we manage risk in the fire departments. When you're talking about a fire department, you're asking people to be ready and hoping that they don't have to do any work, which means that a lot of them are ready and waiting and willing, but we want to make sure that we can manage the risk when they're not doing the job. And that comes into play at labor, certainly. So discipline, unfortunately, is required at some points, but also hiring and recruiting and things like that. The simple process of how to interview somebody can open the city up to risk. But besides that, if you add in oversight to the executive, then it allows the people who do vote for the executive, not just in the Allentown Fire District, but throughout the city, to hold that executive responsible if something should go wrong. We have to think of things outside of the terms of who's in which position right now, because as we've talked about before, this charter will be changed. It may be changed again later, but it won't be every couple of years that you redo it like this. And so folding it in more as if the charter reflects its position as a department, as the people voted it to be, allows them to maintain some type of control and oversight. And then they can voice how they feel it's been going as the electors, because there will be executive control and executive responsibility. And I think that's important to understand, because we love our firefighters and they do jobs that none of us would typically be willing to do. But we have to make sure that if they have voted if the people who are in that district have voted to have them join the city as a whole, that they're getting both the benefit of being a city department and the oversight that comes along with that, which is risk management, which is liability protection.
Can I ask just one question? How does that follow with the separate fire district, West Shore Fire Department? Would they fall under those guidelines as
No.
well? No. Okay.
No, they would have to undergo the same process that
Oh,
this fire district did.
Any other questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Any other discussion on any recommendations or suggestions at this point? Hearing none, I'd like to discuss changing next week's meeting or keeping it the same. But what do we need for a quorum? 2/3?
It was 5, I think. I think it was written into the initial
Okay.
meeting minutes that we needed 5.
Oh, okay. How does everybody feel about changing next week's meeting to Wednesday at 6 o'clock? Who can, who can't not make it? Stacy can be there, Attorney Mednick can be there. I'm not sure if Attorney Cassini could be there.
That works for me.
Okay.
I can't be there.
I know. Wednesday. Okay. Can we check to see if Harriet North is available? Oh. Oh, okay. So it sounds like we're going to keep the meeting for Thursday, the 23rd. Yes, and I'm not sure about Attorney Mednick. I forget if he was available that date. No? Okay. Vice Chair Perry will be running the meeting because I will be out of town. I have full confidence in you. So we'll come out with the agenda and list of items to discuss next week.
It will stay at 7?
What's your pleasure?
I'm just asking.
6, 7's fine. Either one, I guess.
Either one is fine? Well, it's noticed at 7. Can we change it to 6:30? 7's fine. Okay, we'll keep it at 7. I also asked for extra meetings in case we need it, and I threw out a couple other dates. I forget what they were now. 20 is out. May 1st, May 5th. Well, you got budget hearings and everything.
Can we get a list of any, if we can find out there's any other meetings going on, so that we don't, if we conflict, we're not gonna know. Maybe if we get some of the schedule of any other meetings that are going on, would it affect the commission?
Hold on. Yes. So you do not have a problem with the 5th, May 5th? Right. And did you check, I think you checked on Harriet North too, correct? Because we figure our May meetings are going to be in there. Yep. All right. Can anybody not make a May 5th meeting if we schedule it?
What day of the week is it?
Tuesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to.
What's that?
Just me, I think. Wouldn't be able to.
No.
Anybody else?
Anybody else cannot make it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So we'll schedule a meeting for May 5th at 6 o'clock. Location to be determined. Which will probably be it may be here, because I don't think the budget hearings are going on yet.
I'm sorry, May 5th at what time?
6 o'clock. And Kevin, if you can get back up at the microphone. So here we are at April 16th. Can you take a shot at when you think your language revisions are going to be ready for us to review?
Yeah, there are more coming. Some you'll see by next week. I don't know if you've all sat with the changes that you've discussed in the charter itself, but some of them will take the stroke of a pen. It takes 10 minutes to do one of them. Others are more involved. More in-depth and more involved than getting you, section by section, the revisions, is going through all of them to make sure that now, as it is newly constituted, each and every one of them is consistent with the rest of it and with one another. That's really the sausage getting made of charter revision, of legislation for that matter. So I think that you're all doing an exceptional job and made a lot of progress so far and are well on track to get all of this done. Certainly won't be my doing or Attorney Mednick's that we can't get things done in response. If you have specific sections that you'd like to see, I can prioritize them or ask Stephen to prioritize them and we can get them to you. The next thing that you would see would be, I think you've seen from Steve the table of contents, which suggests how the revisions, the reorders would look, but you haven't seen the actual structure. The next thing you would see would be the charter itself with inline notes and comments that would point back to and be self-referential. That being said, if that's not helpful to you, let us know which sections you'd like to see, and we can prioritize them and move them up on the to-do list. What we've tackled right now are the more menial but specifically line item tasks that take time to comb through, right? For instance, the ungendering of the entire thing, right? It seems like a simple thing to do, and it doesn't take a lot of brain power, but it does take a lot of focus and a lot of time to make sure that each and every one of those things. But that was an easy choice for you, right? So sometimes the longer discussion and the amount of time that it takes or the amount of work that it should take to turn that into a change are not consistent with one another. A simple thing might take longer than you would think. So I say all that to say, let me know, and I'll let Steve know, which things you need to see drafts of. We like this, but let's see what it would look like. We can whip that up and give it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I
Steve.
have one. Approximately like 2 weeks ago, I witnessed a shooting from about here to that hallway. of an establishment here in West Haven leaving Biaggetti's restaurant. I wanted to know if I could see this. Does the city of West Haven have any laws, rules, regulations in place for establishments that incur constant nuisances? Because it does say in a state statute, a city charter can dictate penalties and closures for bars, restaurants, and establishments creating public nuisances, can impose fines and closures, excuse me, depending on local law. I'd like to know what is in place now. What could that might be something important.
Yeah, the empowerments for municipalities and state law in regards to what is termed nuisance are fairly robust, and there's a lot that a municipality, that West Haven, can do. Right now, it's typically police response and typically police action. The state will step in also. There's empowerment to be able to call the state liquor board, for instance. Shootings themselves obviously are problematic, but they may or may not be directly tied to service or over service at a bar, for instance, right? Underage service at a bar. So the investigation that goes along with that would show the police department what they think led to that thing, and then that would trigger one response or another. That being said, nuisance is not just one thing happened outside of one place. It's typically the same type of aggravated instance happens at the same place over and over and over again. I'll give you maybe a more concrete example. Businesses, we just talked about this the other night in City Council, businesses that hold themselves out as licensed massage therapy, but are actually engaging in licensed parlor business, which is unlicensed massage therapy, which we know leads into exploitation and trafficking. So in one place, that consistent act rises to the level of nuisance. And then there are many triggers beyond just fines that can happen. I don't know about the shooting that you're talking about. I'm familiar with the restaurant, but I don't know exactly what came of that. If your question is what can be done about that one specifically, I would refer that to the police. I'm not sure.
I wanted to know what was in place for businesses. It has to be numerous occurrences.
To rise to the level of nuisance, yes.
Yeah. And also, somebody I talked to in a council, I used to serve in a suburb of Philadelphia, said it also, a lot of times it'll state it has to be happen inside the establishment. So, I mean, I was just wondering what,
that
there's
can be
something
true.
in place what we have now.
Yeah, there's empowerment that the police department has, that the building department has, that the health department has to be able to revoke license, suspend operations, with or without connection to state operations as well. Obviously, the city doesn't operate liquor control, but because of the state telling the cities, municipalities that they need to operate local health, local business, local zoning, there are ways that those can be all put together and you can work together without something having to rise to the level of nuisance. You don't want shootings to have to occur so many times before you can take action, right?
Absolutely.
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where I'm from, is very, very different from the way Connecticut operates. In Connecticut, municipalities, you have 169 of them, and each of them operate on their own to the extent that the state allows them to and really wants them to. And so, because of that, the state's laws allow for each municipality to put into place that which they think would deal with instances like this. Something like that would definitely start with the police department. And then the police department is empowered to bring that report to health, to building, to zoning, and anybody else that they think would be able to help.
From my perspective over the years, I believe that what happens with any kind of altercation, and they will tell you this because they've told some people that I know and own businesses that, well, the state police allow it, and the liquor commission will tell you, we're not the state police, we're the liquor commission. So somehow they put themselves above everybody else. So they're pretty proactive to a degree, but I understand where Steve's coming from. There's a way we can define anything a little locally a little better, maybe.
Well, I'll take a look at what we have. Right now, it does require initiative from one department to act with others. And if you're asking for there to be something that's prescribed that says, if this, then this department must, or shall rather than may, we can adopt that type of language and recommend that the council look at it. Something that's tied to a specific event, I think is helpful to make it concrete instead of the abstract, right? So something like that is a good example of why we wouldn't want to be hamstrung because the charter is silent to what should be reactive measures.
Even if there was a way, the police chief could weigh in on that. I mean, this is about the fourth incident that I know of.
I'm happy to
I don't
talk.
want to name the establishment, but it's been a problem. The police actually sit out there every single night when they're open.
Yeah, I can tell you that I know that as the weather gets warmer, our police have a detail that will go to establishments and sit outside and make sure as people come and go, especially as they leave finally at the end of the night, that things happen in an orderly fashion. If you'd like to, I can speak with the chief and see if he would like to come and speak to that directly. If it rises to the level of discharge of a weapon or violence or something like that, then it would start with police response and then stem from there. But there are things that operate as nuisance in town that don't necessarily have to begin with police response.
The word nuisance is actually in quotations. It's a nice way of saying this place has a lot of trouble.
Well, nuisance itself
drug
is
dealings and-
it's a legal term of art in state statute. But there are things that would violate building code, health code, that can have any of those departments, zoning code, can have any of those departments go out, right? Blight is one of those things. It's not a criminal act, but it could lead over time to some type of nuisance.
I was thinking more on the lines of violence, but my original question was, I just wanted to see what was in place now, if there are any.
I'm happy to find that
rules.
language and
Yeah.
share it with you. I think what you'll find is that the language specific to nuisance response in the charter doesn't fully encompass all the things that the different departments do when they work together to respond to something like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Kevin, as far as, is there anybody else that has any sections that Kevin can get some language to us to review? Anybody have any
You all
other-
have my email address?
I believe, yeah, you're on the group email.
Yeah, and I think Steve is too.
Yes. Do
If
you want
thi-
us to include Steve on that email?
You don't have to. I can forward it to him. Every time we send him an email, he's going to read it and charge us, right?
No, that's why I asked.
No, you can send it all to me. But if you're not thinking of anything now, but it comes to you later, just send it to me. That's fine. We don't have to only have these conversations every Thursday while we're here. I'm working on this, in between Thursdays, of course, and I speak with the chair and the vice chair throughout the week on these things. And as we get drafts, forward them over. I appreciate the approach that you've taken, and the city council has supported this approach, and they've adopted it as well, to take a look at things as they go over. So, for instance, tonight, you voted to address the city clerk position right now. But we'll make sure that the city council knows that. And so if we get to eventually something that is a roadblock, we want to find out about that as soon as possible. We either want to push back on that, we want to refine the language, or we want to drop it. It's up to you what you do. You just want to know quickly if it's a go or a no-go, so to speak, right?
Yes.
That being said, you're doing a great job with the time that you have allotted. We're on schedule definitely to get where we need to be.
Yep. Okay. We will. I will take a look and probably send you a couple of things.
Sounds good.
For the next meeting.
I told the mayor I don't sleep, I just wait. So email me at any time, literally. My phone is under my pillow. I'm just waiting for it to ring.
All right. I don't want to
and
get
we'll
your
get it
wife
to you.
mad though.
She knows how it goes.
All right. Any other discussion? Any other items? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a second by Commissioner Idarola.
Make a
All in
motion to
favor?
adjourn.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will not see you next week, but there will be Vice Chair Lalani will, I'm sure, do an outstanding
Just
job.
my
in-
question is, are the Red Sox playing?
Do I have to answer that? Off the record, yes, they're playing the Yankees. And yes, I'll be in Boston. Thanks. What day? Oh.